Okay, what's up? So my challenge this sprint was basically split into two parts. The first part was that I wanted to learn to touch type. The second part is that I wanted to get to 65 words per minute touch typing. So to give some context, the way that I've always typed in the past is I just started out like, finger pegging, where you look at the key that you're trying to type and you hit it with, either of your index fingers, and I still kind of do that. It's the way I've always done it, and so I've gotten pretty good at it actually. I'll put a picture on the screen right now, but at the beginning of the sprint using that method, I got to like 50 words per minute, and it was sometimes lower than that, but that was like basically what I could get usually. And that's actually pretty good. The average of what people usually type at is 35 words per minute, so 50 is pretty good. But the reason that I wanted to learn to touch type is because there's some downsides to just finger pecking. One downside is that since you're only using a couple of your fingers to type, you can't really go that fast. Obviously I got to 50 words per minute, and you could probably get faster if I practice that more. But the problem is, since there's so many keys on the keyboard, if you're only using a couple of your fingers, you have to move them really far every time you want to type a new key. And so it gets slow when you try and get up to higher speeds. The other reason is because you have to actually look at the keyboard a lot of the time when you're doing it, and that means that it's hard to focus on other stuff while you're typing. So that's why I wanted to learn touch typing, which is basically where you have both of your hands on the keyboard and you use every one of your 5 fingers to type, and it means that you only have to move your fingers like at max 2 keys to type a new key, which means that you can get up to much higher speeds. And also you don't have to look at the keyboard while you're doing it. That's why it's called touch typing, because you do it by your sense of touch. So for the first part of the sprint, I used a website called typingclub.com. I think I'll put a picture on the screen. And that basically taught me like where to put my hands, which fingers I should use to type different keys, which is somewhat self-explanatory, but it just kind of clarified some stuff. And that really taught me how to touch type. Once I kind of knew how, I moved on to this other website called, I think, TypeBR or something. I'll put a picture on screen as well. And this basically just helped me practice to get faster, to get more confident touch typing. So in the end of the sprint, I'll put a picture on the screen also, but I got to, I think, 45, 47 words per minute, which is not the goal that I was reaching for. But I think what I realized is that now, even though it's not as fast as I wanted to go, since I know how to touch type, I can kind of use that anytime that I'm doing anything that's typing, so like coding or writing an email or working on an assignment. And so I can practice that all the time, even if it's slow. Whenever I'm using it, I'm practicing it. So I can definitely continue to get faster in the future, even after the end of the sprint. And I'm planning on continuing on touch typing and practicing to use that after the end of the sprint, as it's something that's kind of important to me as I want to go into coding as a career. And so it's something where if you can be a fast typer, that can obviously make you a much more valuable employee wherever you're working. And so it's just something that's really useful to know. And I think even though I succeeded on the first half of my challenge, but not the second half, I think that it was still a very useful challenge and will continue to serve me later in life, because I know how to do it and I can get faster. Learning how to do it is the hard part. Getting faster is just something where you can just kind of passively get better as you use it. So overall, it was a pretty good challenge. Definitely could have put in more effort. Definitely could have gotten to that higher goal. But overall, I really enjoyed this challenge, and yeah, that's all I have to say.